I welcome all the learners to this video lecture on concepts, theory, and designing M-learning. Friends, I am Ajit Kumar from School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. In today's video lecture, I will be discussing about the concept of M-learning. Then I will be discussing about the advantages and disadvantages of M-learning. Then I will be talking about how one can design the M-learning e-content. So friends, this is about the content that we will discuss in today's video lecture. Once again, I welcome all the learners to this session. First of all, we will start with the definition of e-learning. Friends, as you all know, there are various technologies which can be used in the teaching learning process, of which mobile device is one of them. We use mobile extensively in teaching learning process. So when we talk about the definition of mobile learning, as you see in the slide, we can say the provision of education and training on mobile devices such as personal digital assistants, smartphones and mobile phones. This is one of the definitions given by Keegan in 2006, which says when the education and training is given through the mobile devices, it can be any mobile device such as the personal digital assistants, PDS, smartphones or mobile phones. When we use the mobile devices for any of the activities which are happening in the teaching learning process, such as maybe for giving a lecture, for taking an examination, for taking the attendance of the students, so on and so forth. So if you use the mobile device for any of the activities which is performed in the teaching learning process, then such a teaching learning activity we may call as mobile learning. Let us see another definition. The delivery of electronic learning materials on mobile computer devices to allow access from anywhere and any time. This is given by the definition Ali in 2004, which says the delivery of electronic learning materials on mobile computing devices. Friends, as you are aware, there are different types of e-contents. If I am quoting a few, like the audio content, video program, any graphic, so all those materials, learning materials are in digital form or electronic form. So if we deliver these kinds of electronic content, digital learning materials through the mobile devices, then it can also be called mobile learning. Let us see another definition which says mobile learning can be considered as any learning and teaching activity that is possible through mobile tools or in settings where mobile equipment is available. Colasso has given this definition in 2003. So friends, the concept is very simple and clear. When the teaching learning process is carried out with the help of any mobile devices, such a teaching learning activity, such a learning process is termed as mobile learning. Let me give you a small, simple example also. For example, the programs offered by the Indira Gandhi National Open University. And the programs offered by the IGNOU gives the self-learning materials to the students. Usually this is sent through the postal service and students will read the hard copy of the self-learning materials. This is what is happening. Now, with the advent of technology, the self-learning materials are also available in soft copy form. The soft copy of the self-learning materials are available either in the eGyan course, which is there in the IGNOU website. The self-learning materials in soft copy form is also available in a mobile app, IGNOU eContent. So this soft copy form of self-learning materials, students or the learners who are pursuing any program from IGNOU will access this self-learning materials using the mobile device, the soft copy of the self-learning materials. So this is nothing but the students are making use of a small handheld device which is portable, the mobile device, smartphone. So they will use the mobile devices to read this soft copy of the self-learning materials. So in such a situation, mobile is used for the learning purpose. So that is nothing but mobile learning. So friends, in short and in simple terms, we can say that when mobile is used or when any mobile device is used for the teaching learning activity, learning purpose, it is called as mobile learning. So you should not get confused with the what we call the mobile phone. I mean, like when I am saying the mobile device, it includes many things like the tablet also comes into the category of mobile device, the personal digital assistants, which is almost similar to a small handheld mobile device. Then maybe a desktop also. So all these like which are portable, and when the learners, students use such digital devices, portable devices which are mobile in nature, then such a teaching learning activity is called mobile learning. Now let us discuss about a framework to better understand what mobile learning is. This framework was given by the educationist Kuhl in 2009, and as you see in the screen, mobile learning is a intermix of three major elements such as the device aspect, which is represented as D, the learner aspect L, and the social aspect S. So what does this mean? See, when I am using the mobile device as a learner for learning any content of my subject or any program which I have enrolled, I will definitely be in touch with my peers, my friends. Even the programs offered through online or any online programs, MOOC programs, they also make use of one of the technologies like the discussion forum, where the teacher will post something for discussion among the learners, by the learners. So when the teacher is posting something, some topic for discussion in the discussion forum, the learners of course discuss about that topic. So the learning happens by collaboration, by discussing with the peers. This brings in some kind of a social aspect to the learning process. By that I mean, in society, I am not a single individual. I am living in harmony with all the other individuals in this society. So that way learning is also considered as such a collaborative activity where the students, learners learn in collaboration with their peers. So this is the social aspect which is represented as S. So in mobile learning, when we are discussing about the mobile learning framework which was given by Kuhl in 2009, the framework says mobile learning is the relationship of these three major elements, which are the device aspect, the learner aspect, and the social aspect. So the device aspect is nothing but the mobile devices which are used for teaching and learning. The learner aspect is nothing but this is purely related to the learners who are undergoing, who are engaged in the learning process. And the social aspect is nothing but the learning process which happens by discussions, through discussions, and in a collaborative manner. So, all these contributes when all these elements are applied in a teaching learning process, it can be considered as the framework of mobile learning, which says the learners make use of the mobile devices collaboratively for the learning purpose. So, let me conclude my discussion about the definition of mobile learning, which says when any learner, when any student makes use of the mobile devices for the learning purpose, then it can be considered, it can be called as mobile learning. Now friends, let us discuss about the advantages of mobile learning. The first and very important advantage is it facilitates anytime and anywhere learning. As you are aware, mobile device is with all the individuals. So, the learning can happen at any place and any time. For example, when I am traveling from my home to my office, and if I get a time in between when I am traveling in the bus or metro, I can use my mobile device to learn the content which is there in the course, the content of the course which I have enrolled. So that way I mean like utilizing the traveling time for learning the content of my course. This is one, and it can happen anytime. There is absolutely no time limit, like it should start from 9:30 in the morning and it should end up at 5:30, the way it is done in a conventional or traditional classroom. The second one is learning is fun because the learners find many videos, many animations, graphics, many website. So everything is possible when we are designing the content for M-learning. So it's not just like reading a traditional textbook where you will find many text and some graphics in between. And there is no opportunity to explore further, like which is possible in a digital world. So when you are giving a content, e-content for your students, and that through which is supportable, which is supportive for the mobile devices, then students can watch the videos, they can go to the different websites, they can see the images. So everything is possible, they can take part in discussions. So that way learning is fun when we are making use of mobile devices or M-learning. Then there is a diversity of learning resources. As I said, when we are giving any content in M-learning, the course designer can give wide variety of learning resources. For example, the course designer, the instructor or the teacher can give audio programs, video programs, website links, graphics, animations, simulations, interactive text, PowerPoint presentations. So everything is possible. So students see different kinds of learning resources in M-learning, which is not possible in the traditional textbook. Now, the fourth point is it facilitates individual and collaborative learning, definitely and of course. As I said, when I am traveling from my home to my office, I will be looking at my mobile device and learning. So, this is absolutely individual learning. At the same time, I can have discussion with my peers, my friends who have enrolled for the same program. I can discuss the topics. That way also learning is possible. So it facilitates both individual and collaborative learning. It is convenient. This is the fourth advantage. Very much easy. You learn whenever you have time, whenever you get time. So convenient. The sixth is it is cost effective. As you are aware, today the internet is very much available in our country. So it doesn't cost much when you use the mobile devices for learning, because the soft copies, if you have maybe 500 MB GB also 500 MB internet, data, you can you can very much easily access the what we call the soft copy materials, and that much is also not required for accessing a soft copy. So very cost effective that way. Otherwise, the traditional text you have to spend money, then all the supporting maybe like learning resources you have to buy, reference books you have to buy, which is not required in the case of M-learning because most of the things are available in the soft copy. So this is the 6th. Now engaging and self-paced, there is absolutely no compulsion from the teacher's side. The content will be given to the learners, the students, they will read the content, they will understand it, and it's up to you. If you have clearly understood the concept which is discussed in the content, then you can move on to the next content. So it is absolutely self-paced, there won't be any compulsion from the instructor side. Higher retention and better completion rate. As I said, since there are many learning resources in the M-learning, the students can watch each of them and their learning will be more meaningful. So such learning will help them to retain, remember the content that they have studied for a longer duration. So this is another advantage. Then multi-device support, as I said. So friends, mobile device is not limited to only the smartphone or mobile phone. It can be tablet, other small handheld devices. So all those can be used. So the content which we are preparing for the mobile devices, it can support, it can be, you can use that or view that content in different devices. So the content which are available for M-learning can be used in any device. So that way we call it as multi-device support. Then all the time real-time feedback is available, unlike in the traditional teaching learning process. If a teacher conducts an examination, the students has to wait for a few days to get the feedback of that examination. But in mobile learning, if you are giving an examination, after completion of your examination or as you attend each question, the mobile device or the device will give you the feedback whether the answer is correct or not. So that way real-time feedback is possible in M-learning. So friends, these are some of the advantages of mobile learning. Now let us move on to the disadvantages. There are also disadvantages. One major disadvantage is the mobile device is very small that way. So sometimes it is difficult for the learners to read the content, especially when the soft copy of the content that we are giving, if the text material is there for some 50, 100 pages, then it will be difficult sometimes to read because you are reading this text in a small screen-sized device. Then battery issues are there. It can go off any time. The third, connectivity and bandwidth issues. Suppose as a teacher I am giving an online lecture to my students and the students are watching this online lecture using their mobile device, then the lecture may not go well if there are connectivity, internet issues and bandwidth issues. So this is one of the disadvantage. Then format issues. Suppose I am preparing a video in some format and this is distributed, this is given to the students. But if the students do not have such a device which supports the format which I have prepared, then it is going to create trouble. This is going to create issues for the students. They may not be able to watch the video program which I have developed. Memory issues are also there. By that I mean, see, our mobile phones, small handheld devices come with less storage space. But there are of course many devices having huge storage space also. So if the storage space is less, and as a teacher if I am giving some video content, then for the learner it will be difficult. It is going to be difficult to store such video programs. So this is also there. Copyright issues. When I am preparing a material for my students, I have to clearly keep in mind the copyright issues. I cannot take some material from the internet and give to my students for reading. This creates copyright issues also. Of course, there are security problems also, security issues. Then the distraction issues are also there. Like if as a teacher I am giving some content for my students, they will read the content, But when they are reading the content, there can be a distraction from there, maybe family members, the television, some audio devices, because the students will be using this mobile device sometimes at their home, sometimes when they are traveling. So anytime when they are using the mobile device, there can have the chances of distraction from external forces. So this is also one of the disadvantage. The lack of appropriate theory of mobile learning is there. Of course, when I am designing any learning content, e-content for mobile learning, I will prepare the video content, but there is absolutely no appropriate theory which will help me to, to develop that video program. So it creates sometimes a problem. The video program which I have developed may not be suiting for the learners. So that kind of disadvantage is also there. Then issues of mobile users. See, when the learners use the mobile device for a longer duration, it creates problems to their eye, and there can have other health issues also. So friends, these are some of the disadvantages that we see in the case of mobile learning. Now, let us discuss about the designing of M-learning. As I said in the beginning, when mobile is used for the teaching learning activity, we call it as M-learning. And as a teacher, as a course instructor, as a course designer, I will be developing many e-content, many modules or many instructional materials for my learners, which we call the digital teaching learning resources, or in short we call it as e-content. So whenever we develop any e-content for M-learning for my students, which can be distributed through the mobile devices, then in that case, we have to plan well in advance. To design the e-content for M-learning, there are some framework which will help the course designers or instructors or teachers. One of such frameworks is the ADDIE model, ADDIE. And as you see in the screen, ADDIE model is nothing but it is the acronym of analysis, design, develop, and implement. So friends, I'll give the explanation of this ADDIE model with a small simple example. For example, I am developing a video program on any content of my subject. Before developing that e-content, I have to analyze whether such a video program is really required. This is the analysis phase. Then, if it is required, I will design the video program. What will go in the first step in the introduction stage? When I am discussing the content, what will be going, what I should include in the video program. So at the end of the video program, what I should say. So this comes in the, after designing the content, then I will be developing the video program. So that is the third step. So in the third step, as a teacher, as a course instructor, as a course designer, I will be developing the video program. After developing the video program, I will be giving this to my students or learners. So this is the fourth step, implement. After implementation, by that I mean after the implementation, that is when the students watch the video program, then I'll move on to the next step, which is the evaluate phase. In the evaluate phase, as a teacher, as a course designer, I will be evaluating whether the video program which I have developed is working well, whether it is suitable, whether it is impressive, whether it is effective. So all those evaluative kind of questions, the questions which I need to evaluate the e-content which I have developed, I will be doing that evaluation in the evaluate phase. So friends, this is the fifth step, which is evaluation. So as a course designer, as a teacher, you have to keep in mind all these steps when you are going for developing an e-content for your M-learning. So this is the ADDIE model. Friends, we have various other frameworks also. We have various other frameworks also which will help you to develop e-content for M-learning. I'll explain few other models also. One is the Attention, Relevance, Confidence, Satisfaction, ARCS model, which was given by John Keller in 2006. Friends, very simple. When you are developing any e-content for the M-learning, the e-content that you have developed need to gain the attention of the students. Then only they will watch the video program. The video program or the e-content that you have developed needs to be very relevant. It should be related to the content. It should match their previous experience. It should connect with the students' real life. So all those factors comes in the second stage, which is the relevance. So attention, relevance. The third is confidence. It should bring in some kind of confidence in the learners to watch or listen the program that you have created. They should be able to move forward. They should show some interest in completing the e-content that you have given or that you have developed. So this is the confidence phase of the ARCS model. The fifth is satisfaction. Of course, once the students complete the e-content that you have given, for example, if it is a e-text, once they complete the reading of the e-text, they should feel that they have understood the content that you have discussed in the e-module or e-text. This is the same with the video program also. If you have given a video program, they should feel like they have mastered the content. So they should feel satisfied by reading, by watching, by listening the e-content that you have developed. So this is the ARCS model. So friends, when you are developing the e-content for M-learning, you can also keep in this model, which will help you to develop a very good, effective e-content. Now let us discuss about the 6-stage model, which was given by Desai in 2005. So as you see in the screen, it consists of 6 stages. The first stage, analyze the learner's needs. This we have seen in the previous model also. You have to analyze the learner's needs. You have to analyze the learner's needs, whether it is really required to develop such a e-content for M-learning. Then integration of mobile technology based instruction with a learning environment that uses digitized information. Then you have to integrate the technologies. This happens in the second stage. Then the third stage is design of mobile instructional strategies. You have to design, as we did in the case of ADDIE model, you have to design, if it is a audio program, what I should talk, what I should discuss in the beginning, in between my lecture and at the end of my lecture. So that kind of a design should happen in the third stage. Then in the fourth stage, you will develop the e-content. This is the fourth stage, design and development of mobile learning content. Then as we have seen in the case of ADDIE model, this you will implement, this you will give to your students, learners, they will see, watch, listen, whatever it is. Then at the final stage, you will go for the evaluation. The same stage we have done in ADDIE model also. So friends, this is about the 6-stage model. This also, of course, you can follow when you are trying for developing a e-content for mobile learning, the 6-stage model. Now, one more framework is there which will help you to again design e-content for M-learning. As you see in the screen, in 2009, Mishra has given an idea about the learner's needs for M-learning. By that I mean, when you are going for developing e-content for M-learning, first and foremost task is you have to analyze the learner's needs. And Mishra in 2009, they have classified the learners into 2 categories. One is the static information and the dynamic information. And these information can be either non-interactive or interactive. As you see in the screen, see if it is a static information like last date of submission of assignments, then it is in the non-interactive category. It is not going to change that way. Similarly, the static information can be interactive also. For example, eligibility in a program of a study. Suppose any students inquire that you can have interaction with the students. So there are some informations which are interactive in nature. Similarly, as you see in the slide, the dynamic information can be non-interactive or interactive. Like the information like tips, news, etc., the podcast lectures, lectures, etc., which are non-interactive in nature. For example, as a teacher, I am giving some video lecture to my students. So they will watch the video program. In between, the students will not be able to interact with the teacher. But there are video programs where interaction is also possible. So dynamic information can be non-interactive like audio program, video program, etc. Or it can be interactive like the teleconferencing, chatting, discussion forums, etc. Suppose as a teacher I am giving some topic for discussion in the discussion forum, then students of course will interact in the discussion forum. So that way interaction takes place in the discussion forum. So friends, as Misra pointed out, there are two types of information. One is static information and dynamic. The second one is dynamic information. The static information can be either non-interactive or interactive, as you see in this screen. Similarly, dynamic information can also be non-interactive or interactive. So when you are designing the e-content for M-learning, of course, the information you need to see, then the interactivity also you need to take into account. Accordingly, you can develop the e-content. So this is what Misra was trying to convey about regarding the needs of learners for M-learning. So when you design the e-content for M-learning, you need to consider these kinds of information also and their interactivity nature also. So friends, today we have discussed about the concept and theory of M-learning in the beginning. Then we had discussed about the advantages and disadvantages. And finally, we had discussed about some of the frameworks which will help you to design the e-content or learning resources for M-learning. Thank you.